Hello, this is Jason P. Wilson Zero and X-Force, and this is a posting of all of my trades that I've picked up for this month. This month being January 2012. Today is the 31st. It is a Tuesday, and it is coming to the end of January, the first month of the first year. So these are all the trades that I've picked up this month, and I've read them all. So I want to do one posting showing all my new trades. And first up here is a great Batman tale. In fact, this is going to be a classic. I picked it up after hearing how good it was. It's a Christmas tale, but of course I read it in January, which is perfectly fine because this is just this is just a great masterpiece of a novel. It's a nice hardback issue, and this is basically a Batman tale with a really unique flavor. It's like, what if Charles Dickens wrote a Batman tale? That's basically the theme of this book. This, of course, is written and illustrated by a great artist and writer, Lee Bermejo. Of course, I think I'm saying that last name right. But he's well known for doing his best-selling book, The Joker, which is one of the best Batman tales ever to be put out. Also, there's a nice foreword here by Jim Lee, and there's a this is basically dedicated to Charles Dickens. So right off the bat, it's a beautiful book. It's an absolutely gorgeous book. In fact, I think at one point they were thinking about putting this out on singles, but I'm glad they didn't, because this book needs to only be read in a hardback trade form. The absolutely incredible images are just so beautiful. In fact, I'm sure this video is not even going to do justice to the incredible artwork that is here. I love all the details in every line in every character's face, especially, of course, our main character here, Batman. Just every buckle, every stitch, everything in his costume just really is well done. I think the story is a really good one. Whenever you have a one-shot graphic novel, basically, just one graphic novel trying to tell a very special tale, you have to have a few things. First of all, it has to be a level of artwork that you wouldn't normally see in a single form. That way you know, hey, this is worth picking up as a graphic novel, rather than just reading a bunch of single issues put into a graphic novel form. And right away, they do that. They do that so well, in fact, that I haven't seen this equal in a long time, as in art. The next thing you have to have is a story that has a strong beginning and a strong conclusion, as well as obviously a pacing that takes you through. Now, it can't feel like it was like too short. You can't read this and think, oh, well, it felt rushed. At the same time, you know, you don't want to be bored at all at any point, because this is like a one-shot. It's like it's a graphic novel, so it has to be done right. And only a few people out there can really do great graphic novels. But this artist and writer is definitely one of them. This story, first of all, I love how the panels are. I love how right here, when we have this boy here, he's a focal point here in the story. I love when he's on the page, the way they write his thoughts and dialogue. It's like perfect. Again, when you get back in the story, and I love the placement as well, like on the shadows of the buildings and stuff. The text really is a great way to do it. Next, I really, I'm invested. Now, I've always liked the Tiny Tim type story lines, the good-hearted people that don't have much when it comes to money and financial stability. I really connect with those characters. I know what that feels like growing up. So for me, it's a story that I can read over and over again and really feel for the characters. So I really enjoyed that. And then next thing you really have to do is know the character that you're writing about and doing art for. You have to know who Bruce Wayne is. You have to know who his identity is as Batman. The only gripe I might have is I really didn't like Alfred. Alfred's just a strong character to me, and I thought he was written well, but I wasn't 100% happy with his facial expressions and stuff. But you know, that's a minor gripe on an excellent graphic novel. I think everything he did here, he hit well. Now, I won't stay too long on each of these books, but I did really want to show a lot of this artwork so you can really get a feel of what a special book this is. This is extremely strong recommendation, and this is really a must for anyone's collection. And that, of course, is Batman Noel. Next up here is a first edition. Now, I've wanted to pick up this first edition in a long time. This is actually a series that I read when I was a kid, and I always liked Magik, and this was like the first, I think the very first story limited run. It was only 4 issues that was put out with her as a main character. So I have like a nostalgia for this particular story, and I used to have it on singles, but over the years I ended up losing it. It got stolen. So I was really pleased to pick this up. Now, this is the first edition as well, and I don't know how hard it would be. My comic book store had one and only one, and it went on. A bunch of graphic novels went on sale, so it was a perfect opportunity for me to pick it up. Illyanna is a character that I've always enjoyed. I really like that they show the artwork of the cover in the beginning and of each story, each part of the story. So again, this is classic artwork. It's, of course, 80s. But see, when I first read it, it was on that old paper. So that paper was like almost like a newspaper type paper. So after time goes by, the colors fade. So it's really great to have this classic story on this type of paper. It looks better than I ever remember it being. The colors look great. Here's Shadowcat. This story is a really unique story. Again, it's an origin story. It's basically the origin story of Magik, who she was. Obviously, she's known as a little sister to Colossus, but this really establishes her as her own character. She basically gets sucked into limbo with members of the X-Men. Now, these members of the X-Men end up being killed and twisted and changed, all of them trying to protect her. But it's a very alternate type reality tale because these characters were pulled out, but I can't remember, but it was like the X-Men escaped, but the way that this limbo works is one version of them escaped when the other version of them was trapped. So it's this is a first kind of like what if situation that I read of the X-Men, and I thought it was really intense and imaginative read. So yes, after reading this, the story still really holds up. I read this forgetting a lot of stuff that had happened and enjoying really enjoying the heck out of it, both with nostalgia and just with realizing what good writing this really was. So again, I really enjoyed this, and I do recommend this for anyone's X-Men collection. This is X-Men, Magik, Storm, and Illyanna. Also, I think this is the first Claremont that I've ever read. Yeah, we'll do this next. Okay, next up here is X23 Target X. I've been wanting to get this for a long time, and I wasn't willing to pay the crazy amounts a lot of people had for the trade. It was actually cheaper if you were to buy the singles. This is basically the second story arc that was put out with a focus on X23. The first one being Innocence Lost. This one being Target X. This is the one that I really was looking forward to. I heard so many great things about this story, as well as the artwork just that I had seen looked phenomenal. And I love this cover. This is one of my favorite pictures of X23. But this basically starts right from the ending of Innocence Lost. Innocence Lost was the origin of X23, how she became who she was, the way that she was raised to be a killer, and she was abused. This is basically after that. She is trying to put her life together, but because of the Innocence Lost story arc, she finds it really hard to do. Again, the first thing you will notice about this is the artwork. This is great artwork. This is some of the best artwork I've seen done with X23. I was not disappointed in any way. In fact, this now is my favorite X23 story arc. It's done right. The artwork, the emotion, the panels, the inks, everything is just perfect. Now, if you hadn't read Innocence Lost, I do recommend you starting there. But you can easily pick up this and not know anything about X23 and immediately be invested in her character and really want to know more about who she is. She's a character like Wolverine that you can just really identify with and care about and want the best to happen for. But usually, like Wolverine, a lot of bad things happen to this character and you really feel for her. This is one of my favorite graphic novels that I've read, and definitely is an extremely strong recommendation by me. A must for your collection, surely. And next up here is the second volume to Morning Glories. After the first volume that I read, I started picking up the singles. So I already knew the story, but I wanted to have it on trade anyway. Also, I had switched from, I stopped getting the singles, and I decided to just go ahead and pick up trades. This is a easy story to pick up on trades. That way you don't have to wait to see what happens next. You can just read it all at once, which is nice. Also, this is one of the only image trades that I see that's put out in high volume and put out in extremely manageable price. This is $12.99. The first one was $9.99, and you can usually get it online for about $10, brand new. So I thought to myself, well, you know what? Stop reading the singles and just pick up the trades. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. But like I said, I had read the story arc already, but I just wanted to have it in my collection. I did look through it though to see how they put it all together. And I found myself reading through the whole thing again, reading the story again that I had already read. Morning Glories is a really very intense character study. It's a great comic. It's very Lost-like the series Lost. At the same time, the artwork really fits the style, and this is a great series that's definitely going to become a classic. I definitely recommend Morning Glories, but unlike other comics, you must start Morning Glories from the beginning. So I recommend you pick up Volume 1 before Volume 2. A great book. And last but not least is Criminal, The Lost of the Innocent. Now, I have heard so many great things about the Criminal books. I do love Ed Brubaker. He's one of my favorite Captain America writers. So I definitely wanted to start reading Criminal. Now, of all the story arcs, all of them got great recommendations, but this is one of the newest ones, and this one got the most acclaim. So I thought, you know what? It doesn't seem to really matter where you start, because each story arc is separate. There are same things, like they all go to the same bars in the same parts of the cities, but all in all, each story is contained within itself, so you don't need to read them in any particular order. So I went ahead and I started with this one. After reading this, though, I'm very excited to go back and to pick up all the volumes of Criminal. Again, this is the Last of the Innocent. Now, this is a mature themed book, so I'm going to be careful here and only show a little bit. But this is a great way to show. So here you have two very distinct art styles. You have this art style that's very Archie, and that's on purpose. It's meant to be very Archie-like. Like Betty, Veronica, Archie, all those characters. It's very much supposed to mimic that. And over here is the other art style. It's more classic criminal art style, very gritty, very dark, very character-driven art style. Lots of character faces and extremely well done. So you might think that's kind of strange, but when you're reading this book, it makes all the difference to making this such a great read. It really makes you feel the way that the artist and writer wants you to feel. When you're reading this art style, it has a certain flavor to it, so it puts you in that frame of mind. When you're reading this art style, again, it puts you in a different frame of mind, and that's the frame of mind they want you to be in when you're reading this part of the story. So, all in all, this was everything that I thought it would be. This is definitely a story that blew me away. After reading this, I thought to myself, wow, I have to read that again. And in fact, I've read this 3 times now. I can only hope that the rest of the criminal trades and graphic novels that I read are this good, because the writing is just some of the best writing that I've read in any story. And if you like reading books, this is just a great way for you to be introduced to comics and graphic novels. A masterfully written book, an incredible story, and again, you might think it's strange that the way that they change the art, but I'm telling you, when you're reading this book, it just makes the difference to making this a masterpiece. The Last of the Innocents is a great book, a great graphic trade, and I recommend this as highly as I can ever recommend any kind of read, whether book or graphic novel. And with that said, those are my trades for this month. It was a great, all of these were great reads, and all of these are extremely worthy of your collection. And with that said, I'm really curious to what graphic novels you guys picked up early this year, and I would love to hear from you guys. And if you guys have picked these up or maybe already own them, which of these are your favorites? And with that, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.